we'll sing a song. You can look up Sahasra Kane. Sahasra Kane. It's on KK songs. Sahasra. Here. Sahasra. Is this like a Spanish keyboard?
Yeah, kind of.
Kane. Okay. Oops. Do the translation first. Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay. So today we're beginning our Gora Katha, talking about Lord Chaitanya before Gora Purnima this Sunday. So to begin, we'll sing this song by Vrindavan Das Thakur. Translation: with thousands and thousands of forked tongues moving in thousands and thousands of mouths, Lord Ananta Nityananda chants the glories of Lord Gaurasundar, Gaurachandra. Goddess Mahalakshmi places Lord Vishnu Gaurachandra's feet on her chest. O devotees of Lord Gaura and Lord Govinda, O Rasikas, please hear of the Supreme Lord who is Lord Vishnu and Lord Mahavishnu. His toenails are the abode of the Brahman effulgence. He is the life's breath of the sages and the demigods. Externally, his complexion is fair. In his heart, his complexion is different. His external complexion glistens with the color of Sri Radha's limbs. He enjoys pastimes on a 1,000-petal lotus, a lotus with 4 gates. His abodes are Goloka, Vaikunta, and Shwetadweep. Any single one of his names is a shoreless ocean of bliss. He is Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha, who have abodes in the 4 directions. Reclining on the lap of a snake king floating on the ocean of milk, he enjoys pastimes of mystic sleep. That snake king is the origin of all avatars. He is the master of Shwetadweep. He is Lord Ananta Nityananda. On each of Lord Ananta Nityananda's thousands of hoods rests a jewel crown. His white body glistens with many colors. How many associates has Lord Vishnu Gaurachandra? Sanaka Kumara, Sanat Kumara, and a host of sages and demigods joyfully glorify him with prayers. How many Brahmas are born from each one of his bodily pores? Each Brahma begets a great variety of creatures. Ramachandra and the other avatars are his plenary parts. They are the rulers of the universes. In this way, Lord Vishnu Gaurachandra enjoys pastimes without end. How many worlds of Maya does he create? His eyes are quivers filled with sidelong glance arrows aimed at Sri Radha. Above the material world is his spiritual abode, which bears the name Sri Vrindavan. Thus, the devotee who bears the name Vrindavan Das sings his glories. So this song, I couldn't find another version, but there's no diacritics, so bear with me. And there's also, it seems like there's a couple of mistakes. The first one being in the second line, should be Shri Dui instead of Sriji. There's a refrain there. So it says Sriji or something. It should just be Shri Dui Jihad. So like, also this refrain is a little bit weird, but like bear with me. Well, I think I can sing that part. The rest is a standard meter. Okay. Yeah, just normal. Sahasra Sahasra Kane Loila Loila Padmukhe. You can sing this one. Sahasra Sahasra Kane Lolia Lolia Padmukhe. Shri Dui Jihvai Gaura Chandra Guna Gai. Chandra Guna Gai. Padapadme Mahalakshmi Bhuke. Gaura Govindagan Sunahe Rasika Jan Vishnu Maha Vishnu Parapahun Sika Jan Vishnu Maha Vishnu Parapahun Jagrapada Nakha Dhyuti Parama Brahmera Sthiti Suramuni Praner Ganatohun Antare Barana Bhina Bahire Gauranga China Shri Radha Ranga Kanti Raje Nabhina Antare Barana Bhina Bahire Gauranga China Shri Radha Ranga Kanti Raje Shatadala Kamala Hema Karni Kara Majhe Biharai Chari Dwari Sage Shatadala Kamala Hema Karni Kara Majhe Biharai Chari Dwari Saje Golok Vaikuntha Shweta Dvipa Name Sar Anandaya Para Ekanam Golok Vaikuntha Shweta Dvipa Name Sar Ananda Para Ekanam Vasudeva Sankarshane Pradyumna Niruddhasane Charidike Saji Charidham Vasudeva Sankarshane Pradyumna Niruddhasane Vasudeva Sankarshane Pradyumna Niruddhasane Charidike Saje Charidham Kiroda Sagar Jale Bhujanga Rajer Kole Yoga Nidra Abbalambita Lila Kiroda Sagar Jale Bhujanga Kiroda Sagar Jale Bhujanga Raje Kole Yoga Nidra Abbalambita Lila Tahe Shavai Avatari Shweta Dvipa Adhikari Ananta Nityananda Pela Tahe Shavai Avatari Shweta Dvipa Adhikari Ananta Nityananda Pela Dasha Shatta Feni Mani Mukutir Sajani Swetayange dhare nana jyoti katta Swetayange dhare nana jyoti katta katta parishar Mukutera sajjana Sanaka sanatanande devarishi gane kare. I don't know what happened. I missed something. Jagra ekhaloma kupe katika brahma swarupe nanamate srije sabapraj. Ramayadhi avatar angshe para kasha jag se sabha brahmandera jeho raj avatar angshe para kasha jag se sabha brahmandera jeho raj Ramayadhi avatar angshe para kasha jagra se sabha brahmandera jeho raj Ehe ananta lila mayar kata srijila Shri Radhar kata khabane tune Ehe ananta lila mayar kata srijila Shri Radhar kata khabana tune Brahmanda uparidham Shri Vrindavanam Gunagana kare Vrindavane Brahmanda uparidham Shri Vrindavanam Gunagana kare Vrindavane Sahasra sahasra kane lolya lolya pade mukhe Shri Dui Jivai Gaura Chandra Gunagai Lolya pade mukhe Shri Dui Jivai Gaura Chandra Pada padme Mahalakshmi buke Padapan में महालक्ष्मी बुके Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotarashata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotarashata Sri Srimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaja Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Okay. Reading from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Adi Lila, chapter 2, text number 9. Nanda Sutta Bali Janre Bhagavate Gai Sei Krishna Avatirna Chaitanya Gosai Nanda Sutta Boli Janre Bhagavate Gai Nanda Sutta Boli Janre Bhagavate Gai Shri Krishna Avatirna Chaitanya Gosai Shri Krishna Avatirna Chaitanya Gosai Nanda Sutta Boli Janre Bhagavate Gai Shri Krishna Avatirna Chaitanya Gosai Nanda Sutta Boli Janre Bhagavate Gai Shri Krishna Avatirna Chaitanya Gosai Nanda Sutta Boli Janre Bhagavate Gai Shri Krishna Avatirna Chaitanya Gosai Nanda Sutta Boli Janre Bhagavate Gai Shri Krishna Avatirna Chaitanya Gosai Nanda Sutta Boli Janre Bhagavate Gai Shri Krishna Avatirna Chaitanya Gosai Nanda Sutta Boli Janre Bhagavate Gai Shri Krishna Avatirna Chaitanya Gosai Mataji's. Nanda Sutta Boli Janre Bhagavate Gai Shri Krishna Avatirna Chaitanya Gosai Bhagavate Gai Shri Krishna Avatirna Chaitanya Gosai Nanda Sutta, the son of Nanda Maharaj, Boli as Janre who Bhagavate in Srimad Bhagavatam. Gai is sung. Say that Krishna, Lord Krishna, Avatirna descended. Chaitanya Gosai, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. He whom Srimad Bhagavatam describes as the son of Nanda Maharaj has descended to earth as Lord Chaitanya. Purport. According to the rules of rhetorical arrangement for efficient composition and literature, a subject should be mentioned before its predicate. The Vedic literature frequently mentions Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, and therefore these three terms are widely known as the subjects of transcendental understanding. But it is not widely known that what is approached as the impersonal Brahman is the effulgence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's transcendental body. Nor is it widely known that the Supersoul, or Paramatma, is only a partial representation of Lord Chaitanya, who is identical with Bhagavan himself. Therefore, the descriptions of Brahman as the effulgence of Lord Chaitanya, the Paramatma as his partial representation, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, as identical with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, must be verified by evidence from authoritative Vedic literatures. The author wants to establish first that the essence of the Vedas is the Vishnu Tattva, the absolute truth, Vishnu, the all-pervading Godhead. The Vishnu Tattva has different categories, of which the highest is Lord Krishna, the ultimate Vishnu Tattva, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita and throughout the Vedic literature. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the same Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is described as Nanda Sutta, the son of King Nanda. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that Nanda Sutta has again appeared as Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. and he bases this statement on his understanding that the Vedic literature concludes that there is no difference between Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This the author will prove. If it is thus proved that Sri Krishna is the origin of all tattvas, truths, namely Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, and that there is no difference between Sri Krishna and Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then it will not be difficult to understand that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also the same origin of all tattvas. The same absolute truth as he is revealed to students of different realizations is called Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitang Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakara Mahyam Darati Swaparantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shriyata Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitanscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhye Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swami Nityanamine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, hopefully, after reading this verse, it makes a little more sense why we sung that song as opposed to any other song about Lord Chaitanya. If you remember from the translation, most of it seems like it's about Narayana or about Krishna. It's talking about how he's the Lord of Vaikuntha. He's the super soul. He's the Brahman effulgence is coming from him. But Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, or Vrindavan Das Thakur, actually the composer of this song that we sung, is seeing Lord Chaitanya in his aspect as Gaura Narayana, or as the Supreme Lord himself. Because Lord Chaitanya is none other than Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And specifically, this verse of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is bringing out, and this whole section of the Bhagavatam is bringing out how Lord Chaitanya is Swayam Bhagavan, which means that he is the source of these three different categories of the absolute truth, Brahman, Paramatma, and of course he is Bhagavan. So this is a unique perspective of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is specifically brought out by Vrindavan Das Thakur, mostly in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. And of course, in the beginning of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, also we have Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami explaining that Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And before we get into the later parts of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's very important to understand that Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, we have this chapter, Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's explanation of the, I'm not sure exactly which verse it is, but of one of the verses of his Mangalacharan, which is describing Lord Chaitanya as being, here, we'll just go back. So the format of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, first we have Mangalacharan, where Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami invokes with auspicious prayers the essence of the whole scripture. And then later on, in subsequent chapters, we have explanations of these different verses. So this fifth chapter, or the second chapter of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, is an explanation of verse, see if I can find it. Anyways, it's not said. Of one of the early verses in the Mangalacharan, which is as follows. Yad advaitam brahmopanashadi tarapyasyutanubha ya atmantar yami purusha iti so shyang sa vibhavaha. Sharaishwarya purno yaiha bhagavan sa swayamayam na chaitanyat krishnaj jagati paratatvam param iha. Translation: what the Upanishads describe as the impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body, and the Lord, known as the Supersoul, is but his localized plenary portion. Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, full with 6 opulences. He is the absolute truth, and no other truth is greater than or equal to him. So this verse is specifically focused on this aspect of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being non-different from Narayana, being non-different from Swayam Bhagavan, Krishna himself. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is known by many different names, and he has many different features, just how Krishna has many different names. We have the Vishnu Sahasranama, but of course, just 1,000 names of Vishnu is just one small part of all of the aspects of Vishnu. So similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being non-different from Krishna, being non-different from Vishnu, he has many different names, and he has many different, people have many different perceptions of him. They have many different understandings of him, and they see him in many different features according to their relationship with him. So in this way, we have many names of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Of course, we have Sri Krishna Chaitanya, we have Shachi Nandana, so many other names are there. Gora Sundar, Gora Chandra, different names describing his golden body, Gauranga, and describing his relationship with his devotees, like Shachi Nandana, and Gadadhara Prananath, Advaitar Prabhu Jita, or something like that. Many names are brought out by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and also by subsequent acharyas, specifically those composing songs about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. There's many different names that he has revealed of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his different features. But specifically, this aspect of Gaura Narayana is a unique vision of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that not all Vaishnavas actually see. Of course, others are more apparent. Other descriptions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are very easily understood. Gauranga just means golden body. So you could also call, of course, nobody has a form like so beautiful as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but somebody who resembles gold in form, you can also call them Gauranga. There's so many different names of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu which describe his nature, but can be ascribed to others. But you cannot ascribe the nature of Narayana or of Krishna himself to anyone else. None other than Krishna can be described with these types of names. And of course, later, there's actually a famous, let me see if I can pull it up. There's a famous, the Dwadasha Nama Stotram or something like this by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, is a list of 12 names of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna Chaitanya Dwadasha Nama Stotram. So we have Chaitanya Krishna Chaitanya Gauranga Dvijanayakaha Yatinam Dandinang Chaiva Nyasinang Chashiromanihi. So Chaitanya, the living force, this is a name of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna Chaitanya, of course, famous name, this is what he's most known as. Gauranga, I already spoke of. Dvijanayaka, the leader of the Dvija, the hero of the twice-born, of the Brahmanas. And Yatinam, Dandinang, Chaiva, Nyasinang cha Shiromanihi. So we have Yatinang Shiromani, Dandinang Shiromani, Nyasinang Shiromani. This refers to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a sannyasi. Yeah, Shiromani means the crest jewel. So Yatinam, specifically the feature of a sannyasi who travels like that. Dandinam, who carries a danda. And Nyasinam, who is very renounced. And then we have Raktambara Dhara. He wears red cloth, red meaning the saffron, the dress of a sannyasi. Shriman, one who is full of all opulences. Navadvipa Sudhakara, one who gives happiness to the residents of Navadvip, auspiciousness. Navadvip Sudhakara. Prema Bhakti Pradas Chaiva, Prema Bhakti Prada, the one who gives Prema Bhakti, one who gives love of Godhead. Sri Shachi Nandanastata, the son of Shachi Devi. So these are some names as seen by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who only knew Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a sannyasi. Of course, the residents of Navadvip, who knew Chaitanya Mahaprabhu before him taking sannyas, knew him as Nimai Pandit, as Vishwambara Mishra, as so many other names like this. And his personality and his pastimes and his relationship with his devotees were very different before he took sannyas. So in this way, there's a whole set of names which ascribe Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Navadvip. But the point which I'm trying to bring out is that this description of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as being Swayam Bhagavan Sri Krishna himself is a vision of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that must be understood, but is also not given so much importance by some of his most dear associates. Of course, with Krishna, we have Yashoda, who is Krishna's mother, the most intimate associate of Krishna, and she doesn't see Krishna as being Bhagavan, as being Paramatma, as being the Brahman, as the source of the Brahman effulgence. So nonetheless, it's important that especially as sadhakas, those practicing sadhana bhakti, that we first of all understand that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is God. And this festival that we're celebrating on Sunday is not just a regular birthday. Of course, in Krishna consciousness, we don't celebrate so much the birthdays of ourselves or of others, but of great Vaishnavas and of Krishna himself, we put on huge festivals. So this is not just some mundane birthday party. This is a very sacred ceremony which we are conducting to honor the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is non-different from Krishna himself. So this can be understood by reading Prabhupada's books, and specifically reading the Chaitanya Charitamrita. There are many different, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was requested by the other Vaishnavas to compose a literature which is describing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's later pastimes. Before there was the Chaitanya Bhagavat by Vrindavan Das Thakur, Chaitanya Mangal by Lochan Das, which kind of describe more the earlier pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was requested to compile some literature which gives more details about his later life as a sannyasi in Jagannath Puri and his spreading of the Sankirtan movement. But also we can understand that the purpose of writing such a literature is to establish Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. And this is kind of the first point that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami really hits on in the beginning of his Chaitanya Charitamrita, making sure that the reader fully understands that this book is dealing with Bhagavan, is dealing with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, who is Bhagavan. Similarly, in the introduction of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada opens the introduction by saying that this literature is propounding. What does he say?
The Srimad Bhagavatam
does not speak about God. The absolute truth. So similarly, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami opens up this Chaitanya Charitamrita by explaining how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the absolute truth. And of course, the absolute truth is enunciated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Varanti tat tattva viras tattvam yajganam advayam brahmeti paramadmeti bhagavan iti shabdyate. So learned transcendentalists, they see the absolute truth as being in three features, namely the Brahman, the impersonal Brahman effulgence, Paramatma, the localized supersoul, and Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. So this is being fluffed out by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. And in this chapter of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, although the purpose of this chapter is to establish Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we see that the most substantial portion of this chapter is establishing Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. First of all, establishing that the Brahman effulgence is emanating from Krishna. Second of all, establishing that the Paramatma is just one plenary feature of Krishna. And ultimately establishing that Krishna as the Supreme Person is the fountainhead of all other Vishnu avatars or Vishnu tattvas. And then after establishing Krishna as being that fountainhead of Vishnu tattvas, it is established that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different from that Krishna himself. And of course, this statement is made at the beginning of the chapter as well. But as Prabhupada is saying in the purport, this will later be proved. Not only in this chapter, but all throughout the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is proving that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. So, nonetheless, although this is a Vaishnava literature, we're talking about the Supreme Absolute Truth, we're talking about Vedanta, we're talking about Vishnu Tattva, we're talking about Bhagavan. These concepts are understood by transcendentalists. Even Mayavadis, they understand to some extent that there are varieties. Of course, they think that it is Maya. They think that all varieties are Maya. But they understand that Vishnu has different avatars, that the Shastras describe these avatars, they predict the future avatars and things like this. And of course, Vaishnavas, they accept this. They accept Vishnu as being supreme, they accept Krishna as being Vishnu. But not all Vaishnavas accept Krishna as being the supreme personality of Godhead above all other forms of Vishnu, Narayana, Rama, all these other. They not only understand that, but definitely not all Vaishnavas understand that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the supreme personality of Godhead. This is kind of explained in kind of confusing words, at least I had to read it a few times, where we're talking about the subject and the predicate, and Prabhupada is saying that the rules of rhetorical arrangement for efficient composition in literature means that a subject should be mentioned before its predicate. So in this case, the subject is Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, and its predicate is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the reservoir of these things. Kind of confusing. There's later in this chapter, there's an example given that the Brahmana is a very learned person. So in this sentence, the subject would be the Brahmana, and then him being a very learned person is the predicate. So it is understood that he is a Brahmana, and then we're establishing the point that he is a learned person. So this is subject and predicate. So this is what's going on here. First of all, establishing the subject and making sure we understand these things and we're on the same page, establishing what is Brahman, what is Paramatma, what is Bhagavan, and then subsequently establishing its predicate that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is this supreme absolute truth. So this is the rhetorical arrangement for Vaishnava scriptures. In any literature, this is how it is arranged. So this is the goal of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, to establish Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as being the supreme absolute truth. But like I was saying, not all Vaishnavas accept this. They might even read Chaitanya Charitamrita, and actually it's rare that they would even read it. They don't accept it as being even Shastra. Of course, any literature coming from our Vaishnava acharyas, we accept as Shastra, we accept Prabhupada's books, even these small books, spiritual yoga, things like this, we accept this as being Shastra. And all the statements there, we take it as being fully authoritative. But in other sampradayas, especially in Mayavadi sampradayas, they give more importance to Shruti rather than Smriti. They don't give so much importance to Puranas. They more towards Upanishads and, of course, original Vedas, Rig, Sama, Yajur. So like this. So for another Vaishnava to pick up Chaitanya Charitamrita, to read it and to actually understand it would be very, very rare. And although we have so many similarities with other Vaishnava sampradayas, this is the defining factor which separates us from them. Of course, on an absolute platform, their philosophy is perfect. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy is also perfect. But we understand that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy is more perfect, inconceivably more perfect. And as we were talking about yesterday, the disappearance of Madhavendra Puri, he's coming from the line of Madhvacharya, the Dvaitavad, teaching the absolute duality of the supreme absolute truth, and an apparent deviation from that philosophy in the form of Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, as propounded by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So modern day Madhvas, those coming in the Madhva Sampradaya, they don't accept the Gaudiya Sampradaya as being bona fide. Some do. But those really hardcore Madhvas, they don't accept Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as being bona fide. And I was hearing a lecture by His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, where he was saying that one devotee went to this Udupi Krishna Mat, the seat for the Madhva Sampradaya in Karnataka, I think. And there was a Brahmin boy studying there. He meets one ISKCON devotee. ISKCON devotee comes there and he's asking him, so why do you worship this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? There's no Shastra Pramana for this. There's no scriptural evidence that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But I see so many of you ISKCON devotees coming to Udupi. I see, so much, clearly they are bhaktiman. They are possessing bhakti. They have some devotion. They have some feeling. They have lots of knowledge usually. Serious devotees have lots of knowledge. And to a certain extent, they fall perfectly in line with the Siddhanta of the Madhvas. But at this point, the Madhvas, they can't quite understand. Although all of these qualifications are there, although it seems like you have bhakti, it seems like you have some understanding of philosophy, why are you accepting this avatar as being supreme whenever it's not mentioned in the scriptures? So this devotee went to Guru Maharaj asking him, so how do I explain this to him? What is the Shastra Pramana? And there is Shastra Pramana. There is so much Shastra Pramana. What is the supreme Shastra Pramana? Bhagavatam, of course. So there's this famous verse. So the Shastra Pramana within the Bhagavatam, there's several verses there. But specifically that Bhagavatam is the Pramanam Amalam. We might have heard this Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Yad Vaishnavanam Priyam. This is a famous verse from the Bhagavatam itself, describing the Srimad Bhagavatam as being that Purana, which is free from all material contaminations, but also in a verse composed by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. I have it somewhere. This is established as being one of the central teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that the Srimad Bhagavatam is the Pramanam Amalam, the uncontaminated Pramanam. Of course, the Shruti, the Vedic Shruti and the Upanishads, the importance is still there, but these are very easily misunderstood. Generally, these are understood as having impersonal conclusions. But the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the natural commentary of Vedanta Sutra, of the Shruti, is establishing the Supreme Personality of Godhead as being a person, as being Krishna. So therefore, we have Aradhyo Bhagavan Varjesha Tanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam. Aradhyo Bhagavan is Vrajendra Nanda, is the son of Nanda Maharaj. Dhama Vrindavanam, who resides in Vrindavan. Ramya Kachirupasana Vrajavadhu Vargena Ya Kalpita. And that the topmost method of worship, upasana, is demonstrated by the gopis of Vrindavan, the newly married Vrajavadhu Vargena Ya Kalpita. The newly married gopis of Vrindavan exhibit the topmost level of, the topmost process of worshiping that Krishna. Shastram Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam Prema Pumartho Mahan. The topmost shastra is the Srimad Bhagavatam, and the topmost goal is achieving prema. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam Tatradaro Nafparaha. So this is the opinion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This matam, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita a few times. Mama matam, mang mata. Several times this is there. Krishna says, "This is my opinion," and of course, the opinion of God means that this is fact. So this is the opinion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this is established by specifically the six Goswamis, specifically Jiva Goswami and his Shat Sandarbha, is establishing Srimad Bhagavatam as being this Pramanam Amalam, the topmost Pramanam. So there are many verses in the Shastra which reveal that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is non-different from Krishna. But it is you have to see this Shastra with a certain perspective, a certain vision. The general way of understanding Shastra is through tattva vichar, philosophical understanding. We understand the teachings of the Shastra through logical reasoning, different things like this. Most philosophical understanding is, I guess, an okay translation. But to understand that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not acquired by one who is just philosophically very adept. It's we have cases of some of the highest philosophers. Keshav Kashmiri, the Prakashananda Saraswati, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, some of the biggest scholars and pundits in India at the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who didn't accept this, who didn't accept Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They were learned in so many aspects of the Vedic literature, specifically Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, just like he's the personal advisor of King Prataparudra, of King Utkal Desh, which was the seat of power at that time. This part of the world was where all the scholars, where all the power, money, wealth, all these things. So you can say that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is the biggest pundit in India at the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he could not understand how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Of course, he was a Mayavadi, but this is actually very intelligent. That one, first of all, requires that there must be some Shastra Pramana before they accept anything. This is actually very intelligent. We have no problem with this. For a neophyte devotee who doesn't necessarily know the Shastra Pramana, it might be difficult to rebut somebody who challenges in this way. But for one who knows Shastra, they can very easily establish Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as being non-different from Krishna. There's several verses in the Srimad Bhagavatam which reveal this. And this Shastra Pramana is something which is essential in all types of schools of Vedic thought, even with the Mayavadis. They're gung-ho about this Shastra Pramana. All different Vaishnava Sampradayas, everyone, any bona fide line, even the non-bona fide, the Mayavadis, even they give importance to it. And Krishna, he also recommends this in Bhagavad Gita, Yashastra vidhimutsrijya vartate kamakarataha nasasiddhim avapnoti nasukham naparangatim. That one who discards the injunctions of the Shastra, Yashastra vidhimutsrijya vartate kamakarata, and just acts on their own desires. They accept this as being God. They do this because it feels good. They don't like following. Someone like this, they nasasiddhim avapnoti, nasukham nasasiddhim, they don't attain any perfection. Nasukham, they don't get any happiness. Naparamgatim, they don't attain the highest perfection. They don't attain the real goal of the human form of life. So this Shastra, the importance is there. And so one who respects the Shastra, who believes in Shastra, who understands that the Shastra is the laws of this world, the Shastra describes so many times the appearance, the Vishnu avatars. Ajopi san avyayatma, bhutanang ishwaropi san. What is it? Bhutanang ishwaro prakritim swamadhishtaya sambhavam yatma mayaya. Krishna says, although I'm unborn and although I'm the Lord of the universe, bhutanam ishwaropi san, prakritim swamadhishtaya, sambhavam yatma maya, that I appear in my original form from my internal energy. Millennium after millennium, we have sambhavami yuge yuge, the famous verse. How does that verse start? Dharma sangsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So to annihilate the miscreants, to protect the devotees, and to establish Shastra, or to establish Dharma in this world, Krishna incarnates, sambhavami. He appears as an incarnation, as an avatar. And Krishna is not the only avatar. Of course, we have Ramachandra, we have Nrsimha, Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, all the different avatars of Krishna. These are described in the Shastra. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam specifically, we have this chapter called the Scheduled Incarnations of Vishnu or something. There's a whole chapter in the first canto which talks about at different points in time, it's like a schedule, it's like a clock. The universe is working like a clock, and at certain intervals, there's a scheduled incarnation because the time repeats itself. So these incarnations are needed again and again to annihilate demons, to establish Dharma. So this is accepted by those who follow Shastra, that Vishnu incarnates in different forms and in different yugas and in different times and places and circumstances. So this is understood. This should be understood. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami also, he says like this. Okay, you're accepting Shastra, so you must accept that Krishna comes as incarnations. You must accept that Krishna appears. But they say Vishnu is called Tri Yuga. How can you say that he is incarnating in Kali Yuga? And the Prahlad Maharaj, I don't know the verse, but Kalo Chan Avatar, something. He's explaining. I think I have it. This is one of the Shastra Pramanas of the Srimad Bhagavatam. 7:9:38. I'll just read the translation. In this way, my Lord, you appear in various incarnations as a human being, an animal, a great saint, a demigod, a fish, or a tortoise, thus maintaining the entire creation in different planetary systems and killing the demoniac principles. According to the age, O my Lord, you protect the principles of religion. In the age of Kali, however, you do not assert yourself as the supreme personality of Godhead. What is that? Channa Kalo, covered incarnation in Kali. However, you do not assert yourself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore you are known as Triyuga, or the Lord who appears in 3 yugas. So this is understood. Vishnu is Triyuga. They don't understand this Channa Kalo. They don't understand that he's appearing in a covered form in this Kali Yuga. And then, of course, the very famous Krishna Varnam Tvasha Krishnam Sango Pang Astra Parshadam Yajna Sankirtana Prayer Yajanti Hi Sumetasaha. This is in the 11th canto, 11.532. This is the teachings of Narada Muni to Vasudeva, isn't it?
This is Karabhajana. She taught one of the Navayogindras.
Oh, is it?
Speaking to King Muni.
Yeah, so in this age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. So who else in Kali Yuga is appearing and teaching the worship of Sankirtan, is teaching this process of Sankirtan Yajna, who is appearing who is Krishna but is not appearing in this black form? We can understand by negation that this has to be Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nobody else is doing this, you know. This is predicted, this is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Here and there, you know, it's like you have to have the proper vision, you have to have the proper direction in order to see that the Srimad Bhagavatam is actually predicting the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And but nonetheless, because not everyone has this understanding, because they are fully relying on their own philosophical understanding of Shastra, they may not see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as being that Supreme Personality of Godhead. Some may accept him as being a very good Vaishnava. Some might accept him as being, you know, a powerful Acharya who was able to give love of Krishna like this, but they don't accept that we're worshiping him as non-different from Krishna. This is, rightly so. This is a big problem, especially in Bengal. The culture is there that they have so many avatars of Krishna, you know, even in recent times. So, I could name a few, but it's just, you know, just nonsense people. Even their politicians, they worship them as being God. The Subhash Chandra Bose was like a huge thing. It's like they literally thought that he was an incarnation of God. So this is of course, in Indian culture altogether, in Kali Yuga, this is a big, big problem. Almost every single state has their own, every village has their own god, their concocted god. You know, some of them are bigger and uglier than others, and some of them are more famous than others. But this is a big problem. So we have no problem with this. Your concern is very, very good that you don't accept Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as being Krishna because of your adherence to Shastra. This is a good sentiment, but of course, you know, not taking a medicine because you don't understand it. What was this? You were getting on his case about something. The ashwagandha. He didn't want to take it until he fully understood how it was working or something. Is that what was happening? Oh, that wasn't him?
No, come on.
It's like not wanting to take the medicine until you fully understand it. You know, it's good that you want to understand it and everything, but first you take the medicine, and then after taking the medicine, then you'll be able to think more clearly. Then you can understand like this. So this is our philosophy of understanding Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, from the very beginning, we're distributing this book, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We're distributing Prabhupada's books. It's always telling about how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is needed. Nonetheless, you know, like I'm saying, it's a good sentiment that you don't want to accept anybody and everybody as God, as Krishna. There's so many bogus avatars, the Sai Baba, you know, huge avatars. The difference between them and of real avatars is the Shastra Pramana. Then you might not accept Sai Baba as being God. They might tell you, oh, it's because you haven't been given the mercy. You haven't been given his mercy to see that he is God. You haven't been given this vision. There's also this, he's like some deviant from Gaudiya. People have had some vision, when being with him, vision that he is actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is actually Radha and Krishna. They have some vision, but the Shastra is not supporting this vision. Their vision is the same as going and taking some LSD and then seeing Radha and Krishna and your grandma or something like that. It's just some hallucination. It has no basis in real Shastra. It's nonsense. So this is good, that there are rebuttals. And we're prepared to refute these with our Shastra, with everyone's Shastra. It's not just our Shastra. Chaitanya Charitamrita, they might say, oh, that's your Shastra, I don't accept your Shastra. But look at our Shastra, look what is inside of it, what are we quoting? So many of the verses of Chaitanya Charitamrita are Sanskrit verses from the Vedas, from the Srimad Bhagavatam and other Vedic literatures. Actually, close by to here, there's a whole purport where Prabhupada quotes, here. You can pull up, anyways, I think we get the picture. Prabhupada quotes some from from other Shastras. Let me see. There's actually some very surprising, there's some verses from the Upanishads that literally say that Krishna will appear as the son of Shachi Devi in Navadvip or something like that. I don't know exactly the source. I don't want to say it. Prabhupada isn't quoting it, so. But this verse from Shvetashvatara Upanishad, Mahan Prabhur Vai Purusha Satvasyaisha Pravartakaha Sunirmilam Imam Praptam Ishano Jyotiravyayaha. Mahan Prabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is Mahaprabhu, who disseminates transcendental enlightenment. Just to be in touch with him is to be in contact with the indestructible Brahma Jyoti. Mundaka Upanishad, one who sees that the golden-colored personality of Godhead, the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Actor, who is the source of the Supreme Brahman, is liberated. Who else is the golden form? Of course, you might have Surya Narayana. This is the explanations that other people might have, but even in the Vishnu Sahasranama, what is this? Suvarna Varna Hemango. What is the second one? Hemango. Varanga, yeah. Sannyasakrit. So these specifically 2 or 3 names from this. Suvarna, I guess 4. Well, some of them can be ascribed to others, but who else?
Depends on how you break it anyway.
Yeah, but Varanga, it just means someone who's very beautiful. You can say this is a name of Krishna, and you can just be happy like that, but we see it as, this is describing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But specifically, Suvarna Varna. Suvarna Varna. Hemanga, golden-bodied. Who else is this? You can say Surya Narayana, but it's a better description of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then, of course, Sannyasakrit. Who else is Sannyasakrit? There's many different incarnations of Vishnu. Some of them are renounced, like Vamana, Rishabha, Nara Narayana.
Sannyasakrit Shama Shanto. That is very hard to find.
And even Buddha is renounced, Vishnu Tattva, Vishnu Avatar. But who is Sannyasakrit? Who has formally accepted sannyas? Who is a sannyasi? Who is known as a sannyasi? This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, So Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan brings this out in his commentary on the Vishnu Sahasranam. But everyone else, they might have some other explanations. I'm not sure what they say for Sannyasakrit, but
They say
Nara Narayana.
and Kapila Deva.
Oh, Kapila. Yeah, so these are also correct. You can say that these can be names, but most, the best fit for this name is that of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, so in this way, there's so much Shastra Praman from Shruti, from Smriti, from Bhagavatam, and of course from the teachings of our recent Acharyas, Narottam Das Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and their writings, which we accept as Shastra. This is our Praman. And we can understand these through Tattva Vichar. We can philosophically understand how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that Supreme Personality of Godhead. But more than that, actually, understanding how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Bhagavan and how Bhagavan is the Supreme Person and how the Supreme Person has a personality and relationships with his devotees and pastimes, which are bringing all this out. This is where we move more into Rasa Vichar, which is more emphasized in the Chaitanya Charitamrita later on. Here we're establishing philosophically Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Later on, we're understanding the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We're understanding the reasons for his appearance, his internal reasons. And this is, this is how high the Chaitanya Charitamrita goes. Of course, it begins with Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Braja. This is the beginning, but it goes higher and higher. Of course, the gopis are the the best example of one who has sharanam braja, who has taken full shelter of him, given up sarva dharman, parityaja, given up all other forms of religion, given up even their husbands and their families, which is adharmic, doing this for Krishna. This is real sarva dharman parityaja, and then Chaitanya Charitamrita brings out how high this can actually go. This is the mood, this is the feeling which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared to actually experience. He's saying his devotees are so blissed out being my devotee, but I can't do that because I'm me. I can't be a devotee of myself. So taking the mood and the complexion of Srimati Radharani, he appears to experience this rasa, and this rasa vichar is explained in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is a very important aspect of the Supreme Lord, which is not necessarily neglected, but not quite, not everyone has entrance into this, even in lines of bona fide Vaishnava Sampradayas. Sri Sampradaya, you have Andal, which is maybe the closest thing to it. Andal is one of the wife of Lord Ranganath. What are the names of these 11? Alvars. One of the Alvars. Composer of literature, which is about the Supreme Lord, and she has this relationship as a wife of the Supreme Lord, and her mood is very similar to the gopis, but it's still different. It's still just a little different. This is maybe as close as you'll get. In Madhva Sampradaya, they worship Krishna, but they don't have this gopi bhava, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving. And but this is a very important aspect. In fact, for us, this is the most important aspect of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Not that He is the creator, maintainer, and destroyer of the material worlds, not that He is the Paramatma, the source of Brahman. All these things are there, and we must understand that Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is this person. But more than that, we understand who He is with His intimate relationships. And it's kind of like understanding the president. We see his activities through his different departments and everything like that, but not everyone can see what the president does at home with his wife and with his kids and what he likes to eat and what he enjoys. Krishna is the supreme enjoyer, Govinda. So we have Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabis Tabhirya Eva Nija Rupataya Kalabhihi Goloka Eva Niva Satya Kilatma Bhuto Govinda Marabhu. So what does this mean? Ananda is Krishna is in his divine abode is fully made of this Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, this spiritual bliss. This is the whole purpose of his existence in Goloka. And his companions are, they're expansions of his own self, actually. What is that? Tabhirya eva nijarupa tayakalabhihi. Nija. These are expansions of Nijarupa. This is expansions of Krishna's own self. And in this way, he's enjoying the topmost nectar in Goloka Vrindavan. But he's seeing that actually these devotees are experiencing something even higher. And that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is enjoying that rasa. He's the supreme enjoyer, so you can't say that someone is enjoying more than him. So therefore, he has to be the enjoyer of this relationship as well. So this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So yeah, in this way, the Vaishnava Acharyas, specifically coming from the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, compile so much literature to explain this to us. It's a very complex thing, and although we're talking about rasa vichar and we're kind of downplaying this tattva vichar, philosophy is not something which is lacking in the Gaudiya Sampradaya. Those who think that it is lacking are just sentimentalists who are they're Prakrita Sahajiyas, actually. They're not reading Prabhupada's books. If you read Prabhupada's books, you'll experience the highest philosophy. Just in simple books, like I was talking about the spiritual yoga. It's a cute little pink book, and the yoga matajis, the yoga masters, they love to take it on books and everything. You open it up and it's talking about, really, really like heavy philosophy. It's even like, it's talking about following the four regs and everything. It's like, not everybody is interested in this, Specifically those who are very attached to sense enjoyment, they're not interested in hearing the philosophy in Prabhupada's books. And Prabhupada's books are a synthesis of all of the previous acharyas. Prabhupada actually said that by reading his books, we can come in contact with all of the previous acharyas. It's a very, very powerful thing. the 6 Goswamis, all except for Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, I think, composed. We have their literature. I mean, even if he did compose, I don't think we know of it. All other 5 Goswamis, we have their literature. Specifically, Jiva Goswami is known for compiling very philosophical treatises about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, establishing him as the personality of Godhead and establishing his teachings as being bona fide and authoritative. So this is what we're here to experience, to serve these Vaishnavas which are exposing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They're exposing this covered incarnation in Kali Yuga in order to spread the mercy, and so that all the conditioned souls can actually become happy. This is why we're here. We want to become happy. And then upon getting happiness from Krishna consciousness, naturally you want to share this with everyone. So naturally the Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipano Sadharma Sangstapiko, the Dharma Sangstapanartha, Dharma Sangstapako, the Nana Shastra, by writing Shastra, by literally studying and writing Shastra, the 6 Goswamis are famous for establishing Dharma in this world. Dharma, not just any Dharma, is, what is it, Swadharma? Sadharma. Eternal Dharma, or real Dharma, which means Krishna Bhakti. This is the Shastra which they are presenting. And the writings of our acharyas are all present in Prabhupada's books. So this is by giving Prabhupada's books to people, they can also understand this, just by reading these books. Whatever we have to say, whatever we can demonstrate on our own is usually not sufficient enough to establish something so high as understanding that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was on this planet only 500 years ago, the time of Christopher Columbus, in some town in India that we've never even heard of. We've never seen a picture of him. There's the only things that he wrote was the Shikshashtakam. His teachings are propounded by his followers, but his legacy of his own contribution, specifically literary, is not so much actually. All of his followers actually ended up exposing him as being the Supreme Personality of Godhead during his life. He didn't want, because it would ruin his bhav. It would ruin his purpose of coming was to be a servant of Krishna and experience that. So if everyone's worshiping him as Krishna, it would ruin it. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wouldn't allow this. Only later on, only after his disappearance, did his devotees actually reveal this. But while he was there also, in Navadvip, early on, Mahaprakash Leela, his intimate devotees in Navadvip, in Mayapur, they knew him as being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they wanted to serve him for his internal purpose of being there. So they didn't disturb him as always worshiping him, but sometimes he accepted worship as Gora Narayana. Also, later on, when he went to Puri, this whole pastime of going before Jagannath and in a fit of ecstasy, practically leaving his body, laying in front of the deity there, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya sees him there. Of course, the big pandas were trying to remove him because he was being a disturbance. Imagine if somebody did that here, like, get out of here. But Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was a learned scholar. In the Vedas, it describes that fits of ecstasy can come about and these different levels of consciousness. He sees Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as being a spiritually elevated personality. He's a Mayavadi, so keep in mind he's not understanding the bhakti that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was having, but he accepts him into his home. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya takes care of him. While Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was staying at Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house, just in the first few days of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arriving in Puri, Sarvabhauma discusses with Gopinath Acharya, who is his brother-in-law. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Gopinath Acharya are actually from Nadia. They're from Navadvip, basically, moved there. Navadvip was the center of learning at that time, so great personalities they took birth in this area. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, as I already said, the greatest Pandit of India at the time. His brother-in-law, Gopinath Acharya, is telling him, you don't understand, but this person that you have in your home is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. This is Krishna. This Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna. Sarvabhauma, same discussion that we're having now. What is this nonsense? This must be established by Shastra. There must be pramanam. What you're saying is pure sentiment. There's nothing that... Who is this? He's a sannyasi. Of course, the Mayavadis, they call other sannyasis Narayana. They say once you have taken sannyas, you become Narayana. So in this way, he's accepting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as being Narayana, but he's not really understanding what's going on. The Supreme Lord is in his home right in front of him, and he can't see it. So Gopinath Acharya, he quotes these different Shastra Pramanas from the Bhagavatam, from other Shastra. This conversation is recorded in Chaitanya Charitamrita. But ultimately, let me pull it up. You can pull up this verse, important verse, Madhya Lila 684. It's quoted from Bhagavatam. Athapi te deva padambujadvaya prasadaleshanugrahita evahi janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno nachanya eko picharam vichinvan. My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate in order to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years. So the Shastra Pramana was given to Sarvabhauma. He still didn't quite accept it. Gopinath, basically, unless you get the mercy, you won't understand this. I can do whatever I can, but you won't understand unless you really get the mercy. Sarvabhauma was a Mayavadi. He was very offensive to Krishna. So the mercy was definitely not there. He wasn't able to understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu until later. Because he accepted Chaitanya into his house, he served him like that, he respected him. He respected, specifically what really convinced Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is that he respected his scholarship whenever in their discussions of Vedanta. He respected his scholarship. And because of this appreciation for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he got some mercy there, and gradually he was able to... Actually, Gopinath Acharya, he tells the disciples of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya that actually Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya will be quoting this same verse in the future whenever people refute him. He'll get them. Certainly he'll get the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just look, he's serving him now. Certainly he'll get the mercy. He'll be able to understand it in the future. And this actually happens. This actually happens. In the conversation with Prataparudra Maharaj, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Prataparudra asked Sarvabhauma, Chaitanya, all the scriptures say that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord. Why are these pundits, why are these great philosophers not accepting him? He's asking Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sarvabhauma, he quotes this same exact verse. It comes full circle. Gopinath Acharya predicted this. So it's... without the mercy, you can't understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You can't understand Krishna, and certainly you can't understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If we can't understand Krishna, which is already way, way above our pay grade, how can we understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? So the mercy is needed. Tattva vichar, that is there. Rasa vichar, that is there. All of these are useless. A big show of all these things will not help one actually understand the real nature of the Supreme Lord. You need to have the mercy of the devotees. How is this mercy existent in our lives? Prabhupada's books. But Srila Prabhupada's books is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy is being spread, and how those who get Prabhupada's books, those who appreciate devotees, who purchase books from them, they get the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And just by having these books, even if they don't read them right now, just by having them, because they have just one drop of mercy coming from the lotus feet of Krishna, then certainly they will be able to understand the absolute truth. But it's not some sentimental thing. It's not like I was saying, some Sai Baba, stupid guy might say, oh, you just don't know that Sai Baba is God because he hasn't given his mercy to you. I can say the same thing. I'm God. You just don't know it because I haven't given my mercy to you yet, I can say it. Everybody can say it. The Shastra Pramana is what qualifies this. So although the others may claim this, Shastra Pramana is actually what, it proves it. It's like the law, So we can have experience of this. Neophyte devotees, they might get so much mercy from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They might really be convinced. They might have such faith that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is God, Krishna is God, Srila Prabhupada is the pure devotee of God. They might be really, really fired up for this. That doesn't mean that they can preach, actually. In order to preach, we must have some level of understanding of the Shastra so that we can prove this to other people. So this is the Madhyama Adhikari, one who takes the role of being a preacher. He should very seriously read Prabhupada's books, understand the philosophy, understand all these different instances of proving that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the absolute truth. And in this way we can preach Krishna consciousness very, very powerfully. With the power of Prabhupada's books, we can, just look at ourselves. This is like practical evidence of the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being manifest through Srila Prabhupada's books. Seeing where we were and where we are now is, scientific method. This is like it's working. If we're saying that we're still lusty, we're still meat eating drunkard, woman hunters, If we're still like that, then it means that the process isn't working. You have to admit, all of us here, you have to admit that something is there where we're becoming purified. You can feel it, you can experience it. And of course, if you're not experiencing that, then you might be doing something wrong. It just means that you need to follow the process more strictly. And this presentation, this people seeing specifically Western devotees, people seeing that by Prabhupada's books, by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, these people are becoming Vaishnavas. This is also pramana. They actually see this as evidence that this is real. There's something to this. Like this Madhva was speaking to this ISKCON devotee. So many ISKCON devotees are coming. They seem like they have devotion, especially when Western devotees come to places like this. People are surprised. Like why? They're not just tourists. They're actually feeling something. So this is also evidence. So you can live. In Krishna consciousness, you can preach just by living. One devotee in Tamil Nadu, he told me, just by walking around in these streets, you're preaching. You might not know it, but people are seeing you, and you're preaching to them just by seeing. So it's a powerful thing. So for this reason, we need to distribute Prabhupada's books. Naturally, whenever we distribute more Prabhupada's books, even within our own society, the deviations are exposed, not only exposed, but completely rooted out and destroyed, by emphasizing, studying Prabhupada's books, specifically by distributing them. If you just distribute them and go crazy like that, you'll feel inspired to read them, and if you read them, then you'll feel inspired to distribute them. So this is, even within our own society, this is very, very important. You go to Bengal, you'll see there might be so-called followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They accept Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as being Radha Krishna, but they're doing all sorts of nonsense. They're eating fish. They're also worshiping Sai Baba on the side. They're also worshiping, all the other demigods, whatever it might be. Some of them Mayavadis, So by distributing Prabhupada's books, these deviations will be exposed. So, sorry, I went right up to 9 o'clock, but a lot can be said in the subsequent days. More will be talked about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but I thought specifically the first day we should talk a little bit about how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the absolute truth, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Swayam Rupa, Swayam Bhagavan is the original and Supreme Personality of Godhead, from which all other emanations are coming from. This is actually, it's not, you don't think about it so much. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Prem Avatar, you don't think about it so much. I was reading the Ishopanishad, and I told you that, or I read that quote from Prabhupada where Prabhupada was saying that the Brahman effulgence is emanating from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And I was just thinking about that. Wow, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, so it must be true. The Brahman effulgence is emanating from Krishna, but you don't think about it so much. So today, hopefully everyone at least thought about it a little bit. This song, before you came, we sang this song, Vrindavanas Thakur talks about him. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Mahavishnu lying down on Anantashesh. Lakshmi Devi is there at his chest, This isn't a vision that many devotees have of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but it's profound to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as this. I was really, really, we hear of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes and everything like that, and it seems like it's all the same. Okay, there's this biography, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's the Chaitanya Bhagavad. What can be the real difference? After reading that, whoa, this is completely different. His vision of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was completely different, So it's of course, Srila Prabhupada gave Chaitanya Charitamrita. We should read Chaitanya Charitamrita, but Srila Bhakti Siddhanta actually recommended his disciples to first read Chaitanya Bhagavad and first understand how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Gaura Narayana before actually getting into this how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Gopi Bhavapur, full of, this is Chaitanya Charitamrita. But so if anyone has any questions, quickly we can. You have something, Apur Prabhu?
Really did your homework. I was, just wondering. You mentioned something, if we, follow this process more strictly. So, do you want to say a little more about that?
Following the process strictly? Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you're not experiencing the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at every single moment and you're always in bliss and always inspired in Krishna consciousness, then it means you're not following properly. Krishna says, what is that? Susukam kartam avyayam. This process is very joyfully performed. If we're showing up to Mangalarti, feeling kind of down, and all the devotees are joking and laughing and having a good time, but we're not really able to get into it. We're not, a very, very common thing is that in the beginning, you feel the bliss. You really feel the bliss. First kirtans, the prasadam, everything is amazing. All the devotees, you respect them so much, and you see how amazing each and every devotee is, and you have so much appreciation. And then as time goes on, when you become familiar with the devotees and you become familiar with the process, and you slacken, also Krishna gives some serious mercy in the beginning, It gives you that initial faith which kind of fuels your spiritual life as you go on. But my Guru Maharaj says you have to be careful. Krishna in the beginning is very forgiving and he's very merciful, but as you go on, if you want to be an eternal associate of Krishna, you can't always just be the, that mercy case where he's trying a little bit, might as well it's not always going to be like that. You have to come to the point of being able to relish the real taste of Krishna consciousness. And that comes from following strictly. This is, what's that verse? The Vishayanindriya Vinivartante Niraharasya Dehinam Rasovarjam Rasopyasya. This is, okay, so this is a different verse. This is the higher taste verse. What's that verse about the regulative principles of freedom? No. I have it, hold on. I think. It's talking about how one who would, oh man, where is it? Can somebody look that up? Regulative principles of freedom?
Yeah, it's in the second, 264.
264.
It is 264.
Ragadvesho vimukta is 2.
Indriyas
Charan.
Prasadam
Prasadam adhigachati. So one who is very strictly following these regulative principles of freedom, Prabhupada translates that. Prasadam adhigachati. He gets the mercy of Krishna. When you have the mercy of Krishna, you really feel the bliss in Krishna consciousness. People come to Krishna consciousness, they say, oh, I don't like being confined to all these rules and regulations. They don't realize that these are the regulation, the principles of regulation of freedom. This is actually what gives you freedom. Other than that, it means you're bound by sense attachment to sense gratification. So by following the 4 regulative principles, by chanting 16 rounds, by waking up early, by following this process of sadhana bhakti, this is how you attract the mercy of Krishna, and then from there, that's how you really go to higher stages of devotion, which you would know about. I wouldn't know about that.
I'm glad. I think Kamalini has a good question. No, I was glad you got in the beginning of the class. I wasn't hearing much about how Lord Chaitanya is a combined Radha and Krishna coming to experience what his devotees experience. But you covered it very nicely. Thank you.
Thank you.
One point, a couple of points actually. That Bhaktivinoda Thakur is written in the Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhava, that he was once in Puri and there was this group of brahmanas who were coming by. And there's actually an Upanishad known as the Chaitanya Upanishad. And all these brahmanas, they were reciting this Upanishad. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur made a copy of it while they were reciting it. He made a scribe of it. But the copy was lost.
Wow.
So
He
sad.
was also discoursing on the Upanishads at the bank of Radha Kund.
That's Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati.
Oh, you were talking about Bhaktivinoda?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And the Sri Vaishnavas say that whole sannyasa krich, that's Ramanuja.
Oh, because he's
an
Lakshman.
incarnate, he's Lakshman.
Okay.
So that's what they say. And also one short point too is that neophyte devotees may have full faith that Chaitanya is God, Prabhupada is pure devotee, but they can't preach. But they can preach by distributing Prabhupada's books. Prabhupada said that Saraswati just saying Krishna is Supreme Personality of God, you should surrender unto Him. That's like perfect preaching because what she knows, she's preaching. So what we know, we preach. What we don't know, then we know, we give. We distribute Prabhupada's books, and by that, of course, we should read the books. No doubt about that.
Yeah, Prabhupada actually makes a point in a lecture on the Ishopanishad, in one of the verses of Ishopanishad, that you can measure your advancement in Krishna consciousness by your ability to confront opposing elements and specifically people trying to argue against the principles of Krishna consciousness. Philosophically, I mean, he says many things about gauging your advancement, but that was one thing that he said.
Yeah, the symptom of an Uttamadhikari is Shastra Yonatvat, that they are able to defeat on the basis of Shastra.
Yeah. But that doesn't necessarily mean scholarship either. You
Yeah,
have Gorak Kishore Das Babaji.
He's a Shastra Yonatvat. Everything he says was Shastra.
Yeah, exactly. He was known for reciting the was that
complex Sanskrit composition of Vishwanath
Yeah.
Chakravarti Thakur.
Yeah.
And even when Bhaktivinoda Thakur would be composing something and he would have some doubts in his mind, he would not know. He would go ask Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj and he would give the answer and then he would actually find a reference to the answer that he gave. And even this, what's this very favorable scholar, I'm forgetting his name. He came, he finally found out that, there's someone propounding Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta.
Oh, the one from
Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So he drove down to Pennsylvania and then he met, he came to 22nd Avenue, but he was really disappointed that Prabhupada wasn't there. So then, he was asking the disciples over there, so the Swamiji is not here, but what inspired you to to become a Gaudiya Vaishnava? Gaudiya Vaishnava, what is that? And then they're like, okay, but what inspired you to worship Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Who's that? Initially it was all Prabhupada who gave that faith, So yes, the mercy is there, but the mercy of the devotees, Krishna's mercy comes to his devotees, Santa.
I was with you. We were reading that portion of the Sri Chaitanya or Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Vaibhava, where it said that preachers would go out, beg bika and everything, and then they would do some preaching sometimes. And if there was some question that they couldn't answer, they would go and ask Bhakti Siddhanta.
Go back and preach.
Yeah, actually, I don't know if it's directly related, but Prabhupada in one lecture actually he says that a real disciple does not bother the guru with such things. They take the responsibility to understand it themselves.
Yeah.
And they represent the guru in every aspect. And an advanced devotee is able to, they don't go back. They're able to tell on the spot.
Yeah.
So we should try to come to that standard.
Definitely.
At least we should be able to show them in Prabhupada's books where they can understand. Next.
Hare Krishna. I have 5
You have 5 questions?
I have 5 questions, but I don't know if we have time for all those right now. So just cut me off if I'm taking too long. My first question is, if some Vaishnavas don't accept Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, do they still perform Harinam?
Yeah. I mean, the holy name is always powerful. I just met this guy named Krishna yesterday, and I was explaining to him that just by having that name, he's everybody that knows him, everybody that even his coworker, just blessing everybody. They're not worshiping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Harinam is always the potency is always there, but of course, whenever our performance of kirtan, of Harinam kirtan, is coming from a parampara, from bona fide parampara, then the power of that is So much more powerful. Srila Bhaktivinoda said that he was sitting there chanting japa, but actually the holy name was circling around the globe 7 times. You know, our chanting, it hardly enters our own ear. We're just like mumbling, you know, it's like, so that's real Harinam. Kirtan is when it's coming from bona fide disciplic succession and everything like that. So yeah, other sampradayas, they also give importance to this Harinam. This is, yeah.
Okay. My next question is, do the avatars appear at the same time in every universe, and is every universe at the same point in time?
Is every universe at the same point in time? No. I don't think so. But, all the universes are like, with the breathing of Mahavishnu, they're going in and out. It seems, you know, a breath takes a while, so maybe some universes come out later.
One way is like, you know, when Mahavishnu is breathing, some universes come out first, the other universes come out, go back later. It's philosophical speculation.
Yeah,
but
that's what I was
even Jadurani Mataji, you know, she has this memory of Srila Prabhupada, you know, where Prabhupada says that, you know, Krishna is appearing in every universe, but at different times.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, you know, in the first universe, Krishna appears. And the second universe, Krishna appears, but he's appearing in the first second. But in the first universe, the second second is gone. And then like this, like that, then there's different
Do you understand
times.
that? So the statement can be made that Krishna's Janma Leela, Krishna's appearance in this world, is an eternal pastime. You can say, how is it an eternal pastime? Because it's happening at every single moment. It might happen at one moment in this universe, and then the very next moment it'll happen in another universe, the very next moment. So Krishna is doing that in all the universes.
So it's like Santa Claus, where he goes from house to house. Krishna goes from planet to planet.
It's not like Santa Claus, but
universe to universe.
Yeah, but Krishna's blessing all the universes, that's for sure. And yes, all the incarnations, they're scheduled. They're at specific times. The astrological calculations are always the same. So that's how we know if it's a bona fide avatar.
Prabhupada gave the example of the sun, you know, it's like the sun is always traveling. It's 9:15 p.m. somewhere in the world. And no matter what, at any point of time, it's going to be 9:15 p.m. somewhere in the world.
And the sun is rising.
And the sun is rising somewhere in the world all the time. And it's setting somewhere in the world all the time. You know, similarly, Krishna is appearing in all these pastimes are going on like that.
Okay.
Not like Santa Claus, but like the sun.
That's two.
That's two.
2 questions down.
What is the difference between an incarnation and an expansion?
What's the difference in incarnation and expansion?
Yeah.
So the incarnations are, they come about in this world from an expansion of Krishna, known as Kshirodakashaya Vishnu. Purusha avatars are, they're considered to be an expansion of Krishna, whereas the avatars, Leela avatars, I mean, also the Purusha avatars are avatars, but you can understand that, what's a good way to put this?
It's Amsha and Vibhinamsha.
Amsha, Vibhinamsha. You can explain it.
Anyway, this is the whole section in Chaitanya.
Yeah.
You can read it, and if you still have a question, you can ask.
Yeah, read this.
Kamalini Mataji will.
Yeah. Is that okay? Do you have anything like really pressing? Because we can talk about it like after, like
We
during
can talk
prasad
it during
too.
prasadam.
Yeah. Mataji, you have something? Oh, she doesn't have it.
Oh, she did?
Any other Matajis have anything? Yeah.
I had only heard this on like the radio, so I wasn't able to like go back and like get more information. But basically, I was hearing from Bhakti Vikas Maharaj, and he actually was talking about how that when people that are particularly chanting the holy names for like impure intentions, like they have no intention of just like preaching or whatever it was. I think he was even talking about like some. Actually, he was talking about what's that rascal? He's I don't know, but he calls himself with like some devotional type name, but he boldly like affirms that like Krishna doesn't exist or something. I think Krishnadas, maybe that's his name or something like that. But anyways, he was actually particularly referencing that individual, and he was saying that actually when such people chant the holy names, it's not actually manifest. The holy name doesn't become manifest by such people. That it's actually like Maya, which is becoming manifest, and then you can tell it by the people that it's attracting. So I don't know where exactly that falls into line what you were saying. How how you responded to the other question, but I did hear that it is particularly that Maharaj said that, you know, the holy name does not become manifest to by such people.
Was there
But
a
I don't
question?
have a
or-
source. No, I was just a comment.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. A Vaishnava Mukha Kirtan? I don't know. Mukha Kirtan.
Like milk touched with
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Has poisonous effects. But, yeah, also Prabhupada says that because the Sankirtan Yajna is complete, if one is performing it with materialistic motives, then they also might achieve those things.
But if they're offensive,
Yeah.
Janma Kariya Disha.
If they're offensive, then no. Guru Maharaj says that there's this one brahmachari in like Mumbai or something, his old senior brahmachari who is very firm on the point that he is doing this so that he can go and enjoy on the heavenly planets. He's not envious of the devotees. He understands that that's not really the real thing, but he really has the desire. And so Krishna will, you know, you can do that if you want. The holy name is complete and powerful. So, yeah. Anything else? That's it. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita